I'm Jack, 30 years old, and this is how I accidentally got 20 people fired just by telling the truth. A few years ago, I was working at a busy petrol station on a major highway. It was one of those places always filled with people, long hours, fast pace, high stress. One day during my shift, I bent down to grab my water bottle, lost my balance, and slipped a disc in my lower back. For months, I had to rely on strong painkillers. The pain was immediate, sharp, blinding. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even dress myself. If I sneezed too hard, my legs would literally give out. I didn't blame the company. Accidents happen. But since it happened on site, my injury was covered, and that probably saved me years of future surgeries. After months of physio, I was cleared to return to work, but only for light duties and short shifts. So there I was, back on the job, doing my best during a quiet 4-hour shift. That day, I had a sore throat. Now, normally, we're allowed 1 coffee per shift, but cold felt better than hot, so I asked the second in charge, let S call him Clifford, if I could grab a slushie instead of coffee. He said, yeah, that's fine. Just use a coffee cup. I did exactly what he said. Filled a small coffee cup with slushie, sipped it during my break, and felt a bit better. The next morning, 7 a.m., I wake up to an email from corporate, suspended, without pay, for a serious breach of conduct. I was shocked, heart racing. What could I have done? I replied immediately, asking for a meeting. 2 days later, I walked into a small conference room. It was me, my support person, Clifford, the store manager, and 2 HR reps who had traveled all the way down. We sat down. The manager looked me straight in the eye and said, "You're here today because of an offense serious enough for immediate termination." My stomach dropped. You know that moment going through airport security when you suddenly wonder if someone planted drugs in your bag? That's what it felt like. Then came the next blow. The manager asked me, all serious, "Do you understand the definition of stealing?" I blinked. Yeah, I'd like to think so," he said. "On Monday, you took a slushie. You put it in a coffee cup. That's theft." I was stunned, then relieved. "Go. This is all a misunderstanding. Clifford told me it was okay." I asked first. I turned to Clifford, sitting just across the table, and this man looked me straight in the eye and said, "That never happened." My heart dropped. My stomach turned. I looked around the room, confused, shocked, angry. 1,000 thoughts running through my head. Calm. Then it all stopped. I guess I'll have to write that off from my morning tea. Hee. I realized what was happening. They were setting me up. Trying to make an example out of me. Probably trying to get rid of me for being on reduced hours. Easier to cut me than help me recover. "I saw you last week write off Oreos and take them to the back for yourself. Is that stealing too?" And you know what I felt? I looked at the manager and suddenly remembered something. Just a week before, I saw him knock a pack of Oreos off the shelf and say, "Oops." I didn't care at the time. But now, it was payback time. I locked eyes with him and said, "Okay." But I'm a bit confused. I had kept my mouth shut, not judging, but pointing out how badly the place was being managed. The room froze. HR turned their heads slowly. The manager's face turned pale, but I wasn't done. Seeing as he's cheating on his wife with Trina in the staff bathrooms. I turned to Clifford, freshly married, 2 kids, and sleeping with another cashier. Let S call her Trina in the store bathroom during shifts. Listed out every single breach I had seen just in the past week. Apparently, Clifford, his wife, found out and was trying to pull Trina through the safety glass barrier every time she showed up to work. Told them I'd be happy to give more info if needed. Minded my business. But now? Nah. I looked at HR and asked, "Is Clifford a reliable witness?" Mother jaw on the floor. The manager, he was in the office, crying, packing his things into a cardboard box. It was like something out of a movie. Still not done. I mentioned that multiple staffs were smoking weed during their breaks. I talked for 30 minutes straight. They ended the meeting fast. 3 days later, I got a call from HR. I thought they were calling to fire me. I walked in, ready to accept it and move on. Instead, they were groveling, apologizing, asking me to come back, even offering me a promotion to second in charge. Go. What happened to Clifford? Go. Instead, they lost their jobs, their bonuses, and their secrets. They told me Clifford and Trina had both quit. And guess what? 18 people were fired after HR reviewed security footage and interviews. Eating expired food, stealing stock, getting high, hooking up in bathrooms. All of it caught and cleaned out. I told them I'd think about the promotion. I walked back to the main store. I smiled, walked in with a spring in my step. "Oh, what's wrong?" I asked, all sweet. He sniffled. "Just going on leave." "Yeah, permanent leave, I'm guessing." 3 days later, I quit. Then I flew to another country using my credit card and had the best 2 weeks of my life. Sometimes you don't need to fight dirty. You just need to know when to speak up and how to hit where it hurts. They tried to fire me over 3 cents worth of slushy. Call it karma. Call it accidental revenge. Either way, justice was served. If you made it this far, you know that justice feels good when it's finally yours. So drop a like if you've ever had a boss or a coworker do you dirty. Subscribe for more real stories where karma doesn't knock, it kicks the door in. And tell me in the comments, what's your most satisfying moment of revenge?